Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Mom, I like to propose a dinner optimization plan for 2026. Soccer practice every week. Get back late and you're stressed out about making something fast, but actually nutritious for dinner. When Ashley's mom picked me up, I noticed that she made Blue Apron. It came in like a little kit, and by the time it was ready, I still had shin guards on. And it was real food, fresh veggies, protein, actual flavor. Take her from the younger generation. We're innovators, keeping a couple Blue Apron meals around. Not the worst idea.
Get $50 off your first 2 orders plus free shipping with code STIR50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Hi, listener. It's John here, just to say that this edition of the General Witchfinders podcast does discuss people taking their own lives. And, if that's something you don't want to listen to, maybe Ross will put in a bit of an alarm bell just before we're going to talk about that subject so you can skip that bit. But just to let you know it's there.
I will try and do something tasteful for the alarm bell on it. Like Chris Akabusi saying a woogo or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Or the sound of like a stretching rope.
Twang. Yeah, or like the sound of someone choking off of the BBC sound effects.
So there we are. That's a good intro to the show, isn't it? How we've all been either arrested or nearly arrested.
I had a police photographer take pictures of my body.
Britain, an ancient kingdom with legends of violence, cruelty, and torment in its blood. Join your hosts, Ross, John, and James, as they bravely tread where few would dare. Witness their journey into the horrific history of British horror. They are the General Witchfinders.
Ladies and gentlemen, goblins and ghouls, welcome back to the 67th episode of the General Witchfinders podcast. I'm James in Bournemouth in southern England.
I'm John Pountney here in the south of Wales, which is still in the south of Wales. And I'm wondering tonight, episode 67, if this was the year 67. Firstly, this film came out in 67, I think.
That's right,
yes.
Kismet.
Yeah.
Secondly, is this our Sgt. Pepper? Which came out in 1967.
Does that mean is it any ways down, or would you say
or sideways?
Yes, okay. And I'm Ross in Dorchester in southern England. This time we discovered that Frankenstein created woman.
Frankenstein. The name stands for fear. Frankenstein. He shocks the world as he mocks the devil. Frankenstein. He creates monsters of men. Frankenstein's most terrifying experiment comes to life. Frankenstein created woman.
Who am I? Who am I?
A shield of indestructible matter. What is it for? What is it for? To give life after death, my friend. That's what it's for. Life after death.
Peter Cushing as Baron Frankenstein, who crosses swords with Satan in his fight for immortality.
He lives. See, hence he's alive.
Susan Denberg as Christina, the deformed creature transformed by Frankenstein to a living beauty. Within her, a dead man's revengeful urge to kill.
Kill him. Kill him. Kill him, Christina.
Forley Walters, the doctor who helps Frankenstein to violate the laws of nature.
Christina, my dear, that man possesses such power, such knowledge, such... Well, sometimes I don't even understand him myself.
The boy Hans is the tool of the Frankenstein experiment. These boys are the causes.
Hans. Come back.
He's come back from the grave. Somebody's brought him back.
So far we have visited Herr Baron on 2 occasions. We discussed his first experiment to be depicted by Hammer Studios way back in episode 2 in The Curse of Frankenstein.
Jesus.
Hashtag Big Chris Lee Klaxon. And we bore witness to Frankenstein and a Monster from Hell, the 7th and the last of the oeuvre, in episode 45. Bright punk rock rebels that we are, we've thrown chronology to the wind and we're jumping right into the middle of the series with Frankenstein Created Woman from, as John mentioned, 1967. Directed by Terence Fisher and starring Peter Cushing and Susan Denberg. The screenplay was written by Anthony Hines as John Elder. It's the 4th film in Hammer's Frankenstein series, as pointed out by Andrew Stone, one of our fantastic patrons. And go and sign yourself up at patreon.com/General Witchfinders. This is supposedly one of Martin Scorsese's favourite films.
No way.
Well, I wonder where that came up.
Well, he's done lots of a personal journey through cinema with Martin Scorsese. Yes. I imagine it could have possibly. He's such a cinephile, isn't he? That man, I'm sure he
is a very big British cinema fan in particular, isn't
very
he?
Much
like Powell and Pressburger.
100%, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So, Frankenstein Created Woman was originally mooted as a follow-up to The Revenge of Frankenstein during its production in 1958, at a time when Roger Vadim's Et Dieu créa la femme, or also known as And God Created Woman, was being successful. The film's original working title was then And Then Frankenstein Created Woman.
Amazing.
There's a lot. This is reading like a 5-year-old sentence, isn't it? And then this happened, and then he went to the shops. Anyway, the film finally went into production at Bray Studios, of course, on the 4th of July, 1966.
Wow.
England had just won the World Cup. Wow. Yeah. It was Hammer's penultimate.
Imagine those days.
Halcyon, England at its peak, some would say. It was Hammer's penultimate production there. The film was released in the United Kingdom on the 18th of June, 1967. Even though it was a British production, it actually premiered in the United States a few months earlier, on the 15th of March, 1967. In the UK, it was typically shown as part of a double bill with The Mummy's Shroud. June 1967 was a big month for cinema, and the horror underdogs were going up against You Only Live Twice, one of the biggest releases of the year, Sean Connery's 5th outing as James Bond, taking 007 to Japan. It is one of the better ones, but now it is ethnic stereotypes are a bit dodgy.
One of my wedding photos, not one John took, someone else took, they really over-retouched my face and got rid of my crow's feet. And Beck said I looked like Sean Connery in Japanese disguise, isn't it?
Yes, Japanese undercover. It was on very recently, and Hell was like, I have never seen any of this.
Whoa.
And then he got to the bit with the volcano and the rockets.
He dies at the start. They fake you out and think he's dead, don't they? They fake his death.
And they have it's like really slow, and then it turns into like a jazz version of like the.
No, that's Diamonds Are Forever, isn't it?
I'm getting mixed up.
All right.
But also that happens. But the so he's in a coffin. Sean Connery is in a coffin in Diamonds Are Forever. But the bit you're talking about is when a guy gets murdered in Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
And they drop the coffin down over the guy and then they pick him up inside the coffin.
Right, okay.
Yes. So you've mixed 3 James Bond films.
None of them the right one.
Yeah. Also that year, there was The Dirty Dozen, the star-studded war epic featuring Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, Donald Sutherland, and To Sir with Love, starring Sidney Poitier. It is somewhat understandable that the film failed to make its money back at the box office.
Did it really?
What?
Good God.
While we're painting a picture of that world the film was showing in, let us also inform you that A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum had hit the number 1 spot on the 8th of June and stayed there for 6 consecutive weeks.
Just an excuse to put that bit of music in. I thought,
peak 60s, I would
really
say.
Is. Yeah, absolutely.
Good God. This is meant to... I've just looked, and as they started rolling on it, it was almost a month to the day before Revolver was released. Like, imagine being around at that time.
Great.
All that stuff that's going on. And tonight we've got the BAFTAs, and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. Woke. Sissies.
It started off, I did my weekly trip to go and see my parents, and they had it on. And it started off with them doing like a Zoom call. And I felt like saying, like, comedy writers, you're aware that the pandemic was some 6 years ago now. You know?
I saw that and I turned the volume right down and I started just doing some work. Because I was like, I can't
I like that John's TV still has a big dial that he turns down for the volume. So she has to stick like a match in to tune it into the channel. Is it?
I just thought, I don't want to hear. It was, who was it? Brian Cox. Alan Cummings,
Warwick Davis,
and then DiCaprio's there, but I think that wasn't. DiCaprio was the joke.
That was the joke because he had his camera off.
Right, I'm just going to put some music.
It's embarrassing,
on and do some work. I don't know why any award ceremony needs to have these bits now. Just go to the awards. Get Jonathan Ross in to present it. And just do the awards. I don't want Alan Cummings. I don't want loads of costume changes. I don't want jokes about the traitors, probably, or all this shit like that.
Yeah.
I just want to know who's won the prizes.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, let's get back to this. So, dearest Peter...
We're not going to get it cancelled tonight.
No, absolutely not. Dearest Peter Cushing, who we biographed many times before, is, of course,
Helen.
Baron Victor Frankenstein. Susan Denberg plays Christina Cleave. She was a German-Austrian model.
Cleave?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. She was a German-Austrian model and actress born Dietlein Zechner. She became a chorus dancer and in 1966, the Playboy Miss August Playmate, the same year that she appeared in the Star Trek episode Mud's Women.
Yeah, she's one of Mud's Women.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good shout.
I don't think I knew that.
This was her last movie and she returned to Austria. Thereafter, for many years, sources incorrectly reported that she died in the late 1960s, either accidentally or through suicide. In an interview published in the 22nd of July 1968 edition of Midnight magazine titled LSD Wrecked My Life, Denberg admitted that since returning to Austria, she'd fallen into a life of alcohol and drugs, including LSD. After the birth of her son in 1971, Denberg worked as a topless waitress at an adult cinema in Vienna and later as a dancer in a Vienna nightclub called Ren's. Wow. And do we know what happened to her after that, Ross?
No, that's as far as I got. I need to go and buy that issue of Midnight Magazine to find out more.
That is a life story, isn't it?
It is weird, right?
Yeah, John, that's your biography biopic. You'll be at the BAFTAs next year if you can make that film.
So,
from Mud's Women to LSD Nightmare.
As with many films of this era, the men behind these movies decided that this actress was okay to look at, but we shouldn't hear her voice. And she was dubbed by Nicky van der Zyl, as Denberg's Austrian accent was considered too strong. So Nikki van der Zyl was a German voice actress known for providing the voice of Honey Rider in the movie Dr. No, the first Bond movie. She also revoiced all the other female voices in that same movie. Wow. Except those of Miss Moneypenny, of course, and Miss Taro. Van der Zyl also worked as a dialogue coach who assisted Gert Frobe, whose English was limited for the movie Goldfinger. And I can't be... This must have become a James Bond podcast. I believe that's not why people tune in. But it's one of my favourite facts that Gert Frobe didn't speak any English at all, and he learned all his lines by rote, didn't he?
Oh, for this lady.
Yeah, amazing. No, Mr. Bond.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Amazing. Right. Okay.
It's just I think it's amazing how they just decided, well, being able to speak English is not a prerequisite to be the main villain in this film.
Wow. So it says the last Bond film on which she worked was Moonraker in 1979, revoicing Corinne Cleary, Leanne Shanna, and various other characters. And in Carry On Cleo, when Amanda Barry as Cleopatra is unrolled from a carpet, Nikki van der Zyl doubled for her. Interesting.
So this is another person whose life is just like wild stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Why in the 60s did we as a community believe that women couldn't talk?
Yeah.
Well,
it's just the most insane bullshit.
They met Greer on line 3. I think she's got some thoughts about this one, John.
Yes, I met this amazing looking girl at the club last night, and I've cast her in the film. I didn't actually speak to her.
And
it turns out, well, shit, she can't speak English. Okay, well, get what's her name? Get Nikki on the phone.
Rita Von Seer.
But the fact that she did every voice in Dr. No apart from 2 women,
that's fucking madness.
Yeah.
And I bet there was something that if you didn't have your voice, that you didn't get paid as much as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yes, I would have thought in those days it was some mad. If you're named, you get a certain amount. If you're something else, you get a certain amount. So yeah, they probably didn't. They probably got fuck all. Yeah,
hence ended up being an exotic dancer in this club in Austria.
Yeah. So our next cast member is Thorley Walters, who is seen as
legend.
Dr. Hertz. He featured in 3 of the St. Trinian's movies, each time as a different character. He was a close friend of director Terence Fisher, which probably helped him appear in several Hammer films. He's probably best recognised as playing Dr. Watson in several unrelated Sherlock Holmes adaptations. Sherlock Holmes and the Deadly Necklace, The Best House in London, and The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother. Something is emerging as a kind of somewhat of a nexus point for many of the films that we cover.
It's either that or Rasputin the Mad Monk. I'm finding that all of these people have been in.
Yeah. And Silver Blaze. He was also Colonel Bloodstock in 4 episodes of John Pertwee's Wurzel Gummidge, and he was in Edgar G. Ulmer's The Earth Dies Screaming, which we all very much enjoyed way back in episode 15. So we see Robert Morris as Hans Werner, who was also in Quatermass in the Pit, released in the same year. And check out episode 34 for us discussing that one. And was Major Hunter in Blake 7, which apparently they're remaking now, aren't they?
Well, maybe, potentially. Maybe.
Peter Blythe plays Anton, seen in 22 episodes of Rumpole of the Bailey as Samuel Ballard, 2 episodes of Jerry Anderson's UFO.
Which I've never seen UFO.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I just think of Roy Chubby Brown's UFO. which it stood for something very different.
Was that a reboot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the sequel.
And he also appeared in 2 episodes of Goodnight Sweetheart. Now, new listeners may be surprised to hear we actually discussed that back in episode 54. We're not as surprised as John and I were. Blythe also narrated the 1970 comedy special Cucumber Castle starring the Bee Gees, which Ross has put an album of which Ross distinctly remembers his parents owning. And I remember that, Ross.
Yeah.
I remember going around to your house and that they had kicks. I was like, what is this? Because we knew of the Bee Gees for Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, but they're dressed as knights.
Why are they dressed as knights? And what is Cucumber Castle? Yeah, the weird, strange career of the Bee Gees. There's another podcast. Right, yeah. Okay. Now
you're the wanker, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely amazing. And Duncan Lamont features as Werner. In 1953, he appeared as the major role of astronaut Victor Carroon in Nigel Neal's groundbreaking BBC science fiction serial, The Quatermass Experiment. And
he's Sladen.
Yeah, and, and the next bit it says, and 14 years later, he returned to the series, but he played the role of Sladen in the Hammer Films version of the third serial, the aforementioned Quatermass in the Pit.
The guy that runs around and then runs up to the tea truck all the plates fly off.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's lying on the ground and the floor is rippling.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you've put this in, but I do. There's a mention here for Colin Jevons.
Yes. No, I didn't put him in, actually, but he was in...
Yes.
What was he in? We watched recently.
Canine and Company.
Yes.
Canine and Company. He was the gardener. He is the priest in the sequence where Sladen gets his head chopped off at the start of the film.
Yes.
And also in that sequence, Pat Butcher's husband again.
Was he?
Who isn't Mike Reed? The other. He's one of the men holding the arms of.
Okay, interesting.
Madness. It's madness, isn't it?
Yes.
They must have all just worked
all at the same pub, haven't they?
All at the same pub and just had a fucking whale of a time. They must have had such a whale of a time.
So Ross's script says he may be familiar to a certain contingent of our listenership as Dan Galloway in Doctor Who, Death to the Daleks from 1974.
Yes, that's right. He blows at the spaceship at the end and stops them all escaping. The Daleks.
That's death to them. Yes. Right. And we have seen him in two other General Witchfinders featured movies, Nothing But the Night and The Creeping Flesh, and double Big Chris Lee Claxon there, episodes 42 and 56 respectively. Sadly, he died in 1978 in Tunbridge Wells in Kent of a heart attack at the age of 60. He was working at that time on Hostage, an episode of the aforementioned BBC science fiction drama series Blake 7.
Yeah.
Although he'd completed location work for the episode, he died before the studio scenes had been shot, necessitating a remount of the location material performed by his replacement, John Abineri?
Yeah.
And then Derek Folds, finally, you'll be pleased to know, is
Legend.
Johan. Yes. After success in amateur acting, his teacher encouraged him to take it up as a career, and Folds won a scholarship to RADA in 1958. An excellent training, I'm sure, for later becoming familiar to British TV child viewers as Mr. Derek, the popular British the children's TV series, The Basil Brush Show. Mr. Roy. There's Mr. Roy and Mr.
So I don't think I ever understood what Basil Brush was all about, and then I didn't get it. It wasn't Roland Rat, was he?
No.
Was it on when we were kids? Or was it just repeats
probably repeats.
And also, I think he was like guests on Cracker Jack and things like that, wasn't he?
Yes.
He always had those weird two front teeth.
Yeah.
I was always trying to figure out if they were actual animal teeth.
Probably.
That stuck into
it's probably got an actual fox
animal
skull inside that, yeah.
Probably right.
Yes, I'm more of a much more clear memories of Roland Rat.
Yes.
And Orville, etc., etc. But I do remember it's Stratford car boot sale. There was a hell of a lot of merchandise for Roland Rat in the early 90s.
Wow.
Which
crazy.
I had Roland Rat's Rat Race on the ZX Spectrum.
Nice.
Which I think was released so quickly that you couldn't actually finish the game.
What does that mean?
I think they released the game because it was Roland Rat Mania in the country. They thought we're going to rush this ZX Spectrum game out, and they never actually finished it so that you couldn't actually complete the game.
Here we go again, lads. Love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so.
Oh, that's interesting. He saved TVA.
Yeah, do you remember him going to Japan and singing "Love Me Tender"? He brought out the single, right?
Along with rap rapping.
Yeah.
I remember rap rapping because he had a pink Cadillac or something, didn't he?
Or Eric the Gerbil.
Yes. Was he the Welsh one?
No, that was...
No.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin the Gerbil.
Kevin the Gerbil, yeah.
And Eric was the Welsh one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right.
Weird. Crazy. Yeah, it's so mad that we were all just like won over by that. So strange. Anyway.
I watched it in our millions.
Yeah,
to the point that it's saved breakfast TV.
Quick, you've got to get Roland Rat on. There will be a 3-minute per episode bit of a Transformers episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, what's that?
Wow. yeah. God, yeah.
That's how we drip fed media when we were children. Right. So anyway, back to Derek Fowles. We're almost there, people. He then also appeared in Yes Minister and its sequel Yes Prime Minister. He played the naive and callow Bernard Woolley. Fowles then played curmudgeonly Oscar Blakeson in the long-running Yorkshire television police drama nostalgia series Heartbeat.
Yes,
for its entire 18-year run.
Yeah, and it lasted longer than the 60s. Yeah. It almost doubled the 60s. But never left the 60s.
Crazy. And of course, famously, Gary Barlow turned up in an episode. So that means that there's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon you can do between Derek Fowles and Gary Barlow. Amazing.
Yes.
Right.
And Basil
Brush, yeah. And the character first appeared as the local police sergeant and then retired from the force due to Oscar's ill health. He then ran the post office before becoming a publican. In 1990, he also played a character called Jack Fentiman in ITV's flagship Monday night drama series, Boone.
Still back!
These characters in Heartbeat, they had like full lives. Like they had a career in the police, retired. They lived for decades.
Yeah.
But the time never changed, which they lived in.
I've got to say that Heartbeat is probably one of my favourite TV shows of all time. The later Heartbeats, where it's just regurgitating the 60s. It's to the point where it's like a 50 millionth generation photocopy of the 60s. And it's like probably a Jag Mark II on the moors, and you hear All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix.
See Hindley and
you've got a guy inside. He's a gangster from London, but he's also been bitten by an animal, and he might have rabies. And then, do you know what I mean?
I've never seen it, but
what? You've never seen Heartbeat?
Never seen it.
Oh, and the Royal as well.
I've only seen one episode of the Royal when I
used to love it because the Royal was filmed in Scarborough, so we used to watch at the Royal to see Scarborough.
I'm not an ITV
Bloody
person.
Brilliant. Heartbeat. Why do?
Who took over from Nick Berry? Because he left and quit acting, didn't he? And then
a few heartthrobs whose names totally now bypass me.
Don't worry.
Quite a few people actually did. The main lead would change.
Did he regenerate?
Yeah. Basically, he would get in the back of like an ambulance, go to the Royal, and then there'd be a scene where they'd see him in the shower, and it would be a different guy, and then he'd try and find some clothes to wear, and the ex-policeman's clothes would be there, and he'd put those on, and then he'd...
Where you go?
So where are we? We've already touched on Pat Butcher's husband, Colin Jevons. So the film opens with a guillotine, which is interspersed at times with the guillotine from the end of Curse of Frankenstein or the start of Revenge of Frankenstein. I can't remember which is which now.
Right.
So I think that's probably stock footage that existed around the time of a guillotine from another film. So we see a man, for some reason, pissed and laughing. It's being led to his own demise, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it's a very odd opening.
Yes, it is a really strange opening.
And he seems okay about being executed until he sees a young boy watching from the gorse.
Get him away!
His
son.
Yeah.
Yes, it's his son come to watch his father.
Yes,
be decapitated.
And what I put is, so he implores the priest who's there to give him his last rites. He's like, go and go and get hold of my son. And then I put that the son's not having it. And who knew that a small boy would not be won over by a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Not that
he shouts hands.
Yeah.
But it didn't occur to me that his name would be Hans. I thought it was, but then because it's a Frankenstein film, I was just thinking it's like about body parts, and it was just so I didn't understand why he was shouting hands.
It's straight away with the music and everything that's happening. I'm in such a comfort zone that it's just like anything can happen in this film and I'll be entertained and happy because it's James Bernard doing the music. I've already seen Peter Cushing on the credits.
Yeah.
If the credits are before this bit, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're after. Are they after this bit? But anyway, he gets his head chopped off, doesn't he? And the little boy sees. And then does it then, through a bit of a wipe, you see then the guillotine all rusted and kind of...
well, because it's just left up there for the next 15 years.
We might need this again.
And we see young Hans come to go and have a look at the guillotine again.
Yeah, with his Beatles haircut.
What's mad? We've said this before. Is that like these films sort of take place in Hammer World, where it's like it took me quite a long way into the film. So like, where is this supposed to be happening? And especially when like the three arseholes in the film, Derek Phelps is one of them. They're described as the young Russians. I was like, they're what? Yes, he says
not young ruffians.
I thought, you could be ruffians.
Well, the police have got
Russians.
The police have got the same helmets that Patrick Troughton had on in what was that film? The Reptile, was it?
No, that's the
Gorgon. Yes. So I did a bit of research to try to work out. They said there's a coat of arms on the side of one of the carriages, which says it might be Austrian.
Yes.
But then I did some research to see if they used the guillotine in Austria at that period, and apparently they didn't. But they had a similar thing in Germany. So it could be. It's just like you said, Hammerville, isn't it?
I think all of Europe becomes one kind of quasi-Franco-German.
States.
Weird place, doesn't it? Yeah.
Weird foreigners.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, weird foreigners doing weird stuff.
So after he goes to see the site of his father's death.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, well, it just helps with tying all the scenes together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he's wearing the same clothes. He's wearing...
I thought that.
He's wearing the same little red neckerchief and... and
it's trademark, Ross.
Yeah. Well, once you've established your sort of brand, haven't you? You've got to keep that going.
Yeah, exactly.
What, he's one of Dex's Midnight Runners around the time that they did Come on Eileen.
Then he runs to Cafe Rene. Oh no, sorry, no, he doesn't go Cafe Rene. No, he goes to he goes to see the Baron and the Doctor. Okay, so I watched this film.
Not the Doctor.
No, not the Doctor. Well, he was a Doctor. But he wasn't.
He would be. I think Thorley Waters would be a really good Doctor. I think would have been an amazing Doctor in an alternative universe, wouldn't he? Particularly with this kind of befuddled, but amazing performance from Thorley Waters in this, where he comes out with some lines where you're just like, oh my God, like what? There's one. Did I write it down? Where it's like, I'm just a broken down, sad old drunk or something, and you're like, this is quite unusual pathos for a character in a Hammer film.
Yeah. So I watched this with my two daughters, and they actually were quite interested in it, it was good. But they thought that the Doctor and the Baron were a married couple. Which is interesting. It's just interesting seeing it through their sort of modern point of view. And I said, well, no, they wouldn't have been married back then. And they go, oh, okay.
No.
Me and my husband, Rowan kept saying on it. So that Thorley Winters, sorry, not Bernie Winters, not Winters.
Bernie Winters. Mike and Bernie Winters.
Yeah, it's timing and
where's the dog?
Timing an experiment, which they're doing, and they put.
Oh yes, this is a good bit, isn't it? It's so pointless.
Well, it's a great introduction to the character, though, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is.
I can't remember how long they're timing.
An hour, exactly an hour, not a second more.
And they pull out from a giant fridge, which they've got, a freezer, the Baron.
Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing's gone to Iceland.
Yes.
That's what's happened.
As I've said, where does all this equipment come from?
Yeah.
And it's been installed somewhere, and it's like no one's noticed all this mad equipment.
Well, they do know that he's doing some kind of satanic things, they think.
Yeah. It's a bit like one of those things you pull out in a film set of like the X-Files, isn't it? Like the morgue where
unless
you pull
it's
out
Psychomania, when all the dead bodies is just displayed in glass, sort of like encos in the wall, so you can just see the bodies at all time.
Like some kind of spaceship that was, wasn't it? Very strange. But as they pull him out, he's got his hands, his gloved hands over his face, isn't he? Yes.
His smoking gloves.
Yes. Well, it's the only nod to the previous film, which is the Evil of Frankenstein, which is kind of seen as a non-canonical Hammer one because it's so bad. But he does get his hands very badly burned, I think, at the end of that film.
It's similar to the other one we watched where he needs someone to do the surgery for him. So that's why he's linked on to this doctor, isn't it?
That's Frankenstein and the monster from hell.
And so, they warm up Peter Cushing, but they warm him up by sort of jump-starting him like an old Ford Escort, don't they?
For that electrical grid they got on the scene, which is like the Dodgems, I thought.
Yes. That's quite an amazing shot, though, isn't it? Because you're looking down onto him through this kind of mesh, and then the crocodile clips are attached to the mesh, and they're put onto Peter Cushing's nipples, and then he jumps to life with a massive erection. At least that's
touched a nerve, Ross.
That's what happened in my Gothic film, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So what I put is this is very similar to the actual plot of the movie Flatliners.
Oh yes.
In the fact that he's experienced like, okay, kill me, or kind of put me into a state which is virtually death, and then resurrect me, and let's see what happens.
Bring me back again.
Yeah, and
I've not seen that, but yes. So Peter Cushing jumps up with this enormous erection. And his frock coat and his gloves. But what is happening? They're trying to warm him up by stoking up this. What I really laughed at this point is he's like, stoke up the fire to keep him warm. And the guy opens the kind of boiler thing, and there's like 6 feet of flame jumps out of it, and he's like prodding it with the poker. It couldn't be much more on fire, really.
But they're very pleased that he can keep the body alive for this amount of time. So he sends off a young Hans to go and get some champagne.
Let's celebrate
Cafe Rene.
Yes. Because he doesn't want any of Thorley Walter's brandy. I think it's brandy, he says.
And also the village, I put, it's the classic Hammer set, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, again.
100%.
A lot smaller than usual, though.
Oh,
yes. It's been quite cut down here. But it is exactly the same, you're right, James, as the one in the Gorgon. It's in Plague of the Zombies. It's in the Reptile. It's part of Dracula's castle as well in Dracula Prince of Darkness. So it's all the same mishmash. Which is why I love watching these films, because you're just in this weird kind of imaginary zone where everything is kind of weirdly familiar. Straight away you're like, oh, here he is in this bit of the backlot. Goes into the cafe. Are the twats in there?
Well, first before the landlord turns up.
Oh yes, he goes in to talk to Christina.
Yes, he does. Yeah. So Christina is the landlord's daughter, but she's got a like a port.
No, it's like a deformity. Not quite, but it's like her face, like the skin on her face is melted slightly.
Yeah.
Are we ever told why this is?
No, they did. But they keep saying how hideously deformed she is.
She's not.
No, she's got a bit of a limp as well.
Yes,
but then some toffs turn up with their big top hats, and
absolute
Hammer trope.
To be fair, very Hammer trope.
Yeah,
but these are three of the most repugnant twats in the history of film.
Yeah.
Like they're beyond.
The kids hated them. Yeah.
Oh, they're just like everything about this film though is very kind of nursery rhyme, kind of strange, sinister kind of fairy story. And these are the three of the biggest twats you're ever going to meet.
We've said it before, but once again, they're like the Bullingdon Club, aren't they? They're rich arseholes. Rich arseholes chucking their money
So
around.
basically, they demand that the daughter comes out and serves them so they can laugh
humiliate her.
Yeah, but they basically need to say if she spills any of the drink stuff, they're going to kick off, aren't they? Yeah,
and all of that.
Yeah. But she does end up spilling some of the drink onto one of them, and then this causes Hans to have a massive rumble with them in the place.
As I've written, a Jim Kirk style in the original Star Trek series. There's a lot of like
action roles.
But maybe she said, when I was filming Mud's Woman last month,
here's what William Shatner
and I saw some great fight choreography. So maybe let me show you some moves.
He put both of his hands together to make like a club.
Yeah. Or he rolled at their feet.
He rolled at their feet. Yeah, absolutely.
That's mad.
And then also,
this is mad that she was doing Mud to Women a little while before this.
Yeah. And that he uses salt as a weapon, doesn't he? He throws salt into their face.
Yeah. It blinds all three of them momentarily.
I think I skipped through quite a lot of the fight because it goes on for quite a while, doesn't it, really?
And then he gets a knife, slashes one of the guy's faces. And then the police turn up just in time to hear him shout that I'll kill you all. And
unfortunately,
as we find that his father was a murderer.
Yes, and his father, who we saw being executed at the start. Yeah,
but then the Toffs want to press charges, but they just say, "What? Really? You want people to know that this one guy took three of you out?" And
yes, and I think at this point the kind of landlord doesn't want to charge them because they're Toffs. So we haven't mentioned the landlord, but he's around and he's the father of Christina, isn't he?
We haven't mentioned the coat either. Which is
oh yes, yeah. So he's been given. So Hans has been given the coat by
Hans Warhausen,
my little tank. Hans was given an overcoat because it's a cold night by Thorley Walters, which is kind of like a bit of a MacGuffin, really, isn't it? It's like I don't know.
Well, they use it later on as evidence. So they because he hasn't got any money to pay for the champagne. He trades the coat in for the champagne, but no one's there to witness this happen. So that later on, when something happens, they can say, "Well, that was his coat." And
it's quite a nice, I'd say, 1997 kind of Liam Gallagher.
I thought it was quite Withnell.
Almost, a bit Withnell. It's quite Burberry-esque, isn't it? Like the blue Burberry pattern. I thought, and I was like, I can see Liam doing a weird Lennon-esque walk down a street with Patsy Kensit just behind him, threatening some photographers, shaking a big pepper mill in their faces.
Have you ever thought of going back to your Burberry stage, John?
No.
We've got some great pictures of you wearing nothing but Burberry pattern.
I know. It was an important point in my life for me because the factory was in Castleford as well, which is the next town to where I was born. But then after Liam, I think it went all a bit shit, didn't it? And idiots started wearing it. Like that guy, was he in Norfolk that won the lottery and he started wearing it?
Mikey Carroll.
Yes.
The bin man.
Yes. And then he started wearing Burberry and stuff. And then Goldie Looking Chain had a Vauxhall Cavalier painted in the Burberry pattern for a video. And then I was just like, maybe if
you had that brand, you must be thinking, what the fuck's happening? What?
Yeah.
This is
when do we sell it?
Yeah, this is destroying. This is destroying any kind of credibility we've got.
For about 5 minutes in 1997.
When you were wearing it, John, it was like
basically when I was.
This guy called Johnny Van Ray.
I had 2 shirts. I had a hat. I had a bed cover in it. I had a watch that just fell to pieces. All sorts of rubbish.
I didn't realise you slept under Burberry as well, John.
Yeah, I did forget.
Did you make it into something though? Was it cushions for the Mini or something? Maybe.
Yeah, and then I cut it up and I used it on the interior of my Reliant kitten in North Yorkshire. Which for people, if people don't know what a Reliant kitten is, where the fuck have you been? But a Reliant kitten is the 4-wheeled version of the Reliant Robin, of which I've had three different models.
I didn't really have 3.
Yeah, I've had 3, maybe more than 3 actually. I've had two estates and a saloon.
Wow, I'm going to need to. I will Google it, an estate version of the right kitten. You know, you've made it when you're one of those. Eh?
I think that the kitten should be the cover of this episode. Yeah. Maybe you can Photoshop Peter Cushing into the brilliant kitten.
We So the Baron comes back looking. The Baron comes with the doctor looking for Hans, who's been arrested by the police, and they offer to patch up the baddies who've got a cut on their head.
Yes, and it's implied neither of them have got money at this point, isn't it?
I put, why is everyone broke in this film? Everyone's like bartering for stuff or going, oh no, sorry, I haven't got any money at the moment. It's
over like 1 crown.
Yeah.
So while this is all happening, Hans has been released, and he's snuck up to the bedroom of the landlord's daughter. And
is this when he has a bit of weird, awkward nookie?
Yes.
And she turns the light off, and but very strange.
Before that,
quite an odd scene.
He talks about his father, and he's oddly pithy about viewing his dad being executed. Yeah. He's like, well, of course, Dad was executed. Yeah. I'm like, unless there's some really weird repression going on here. He seems to process that in a very strange way. I do
find that the character is quite strangely written, and it must have been quite hard to play.
Yes.
That he's like, every 5 minutes he's having a scrap, and he says, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. But then it's like, but the rest of the time he's laughing, and then people are saying, "Oh, he wouldn't harm a fly," kind of thing. Yeah. Quite a strange character for this.
Yeah. So, like you said, they're having a little bit of nookie, and then the villains come out and they sing a song about her being a virgin at her bedroom window,
and ugly.
Yeah, and her being ugly and
scumbags.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just horrible, aren't they?
But she restrains him from going, but he's saying again, I'm going to kill him. Again, the rage factor comes back in again. Yeah. Maybe the alarm bells for a potential boyfriend, but
she's fine with it, isn't she? What did the girls make of that part, Cleves, when they're like canoodling and the other one, those men are singing like horrible
Tala
tunes?
said, what's a virgin? So I had to explain what that was.
Uncomfortable.
No, she actually said, "Oh, actually, I think I know. You don't need to tell me."
Okay, thank God.
But while this is happening, the Baron is doing an experiment which doesn't go anywhere. He's building some kind of like magma drill.
Oh,
yes.
Is this when he? And is this when he shoots at a glass?
No, before that, that's got something to do with the plot later on. This experiment doesn't go anywhere. He's burrowing under the ground of the of the village with some kind of like laser beam.
Yes. He's extracting energy / heat from rocks.
Yeah,
isn't he? Yes. That's what he's doing. And it's all right. Okay, fine.
But never to be mentioned again. After.
It's not explained, is it? I don't think I've taken that part. I know the bit you mean. And I thought this is quite cool sci-fi. But yeah, you are right. It doesn't go anywhere, does it? Maybe some of our listeners can tell us their ideas of where this actually was meant to be going.
Yes.
So then they said, hang on, this is called Frankenstein, isn't it? It's not hardly any fucking Frankenstein in it. We need to we need him to be doing something in the lab.
Yeah.
Just any science. It doesn't matter.
It is quite a quiet film for Cushing, I think. And unusually benevolent and kind of quite.
Well, the kids were going kindly. The kids said he's like Sherlock in it. They were just saying Sherlock vibes, and I was thinking, yes, he's coming across as that high function sociopath. Autistic doesn't And I think that was
because in the other films he's an out and out actual like see you next Tuesday, isn't he?
Whereas in this he's just like somebody he's just not interested in any human emotions or interactions.
People are just getting in the way of his experiments, aren't they?
Yes, that's interesting. Never thought of him like we're talking Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's the only one they know.
Yes. You really should show them
Anthony Brett.
Jeremy Brett.
It's Anthony Brett.
Yeah.
So while this is happening, the baddies think, actually, let's go back and break into the cafe, Renee. And they start drinking in there, and then the landlord realizes
he's left his key or something, hasn't he?
He's wearing the coat of which he's bought off of Hans. he goes back and he gets very lightly beaten with canes and easily killed by the baddies at this point.
Our three young ruffians / Russians. Yeah.
But then Hans comes back after I don't know where he's been sleeping with his girlfriend to see what's going on, and turns up at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, why does he go back? Or is it in the morning?
Yeah, he goes back in the morning and what's going on, and then they arrest him for the murder of.
Everyone turns around to look at him, don't they? And then the copper comes out and pulls him.
Yeah, a very, very old.
You're Nick. Put your trousers on, son.
Exactly.
And also, that my note from that is that the policeman says to him, Hans, where were you last night? And he stops and he goes, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
What I thought is, it's never a good idea to say that to the police. No.
Yeah.
Any question?
You just say, I was at the Pizza Express. But the
not sweating.
Not sweating. The kids were saying they couldn't understand why he couldn't tell her. And I said, because
well, that's what I wanted to know.
Because it would ruin the honour of the young woman. And he was being such a gentleman. He was protecting her honour. Yes. Either that or he was too embarrassed about.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it comes across in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is quite strange. He could have just said he was with, they were looking at some etchings or something.
Yeah. She then also departs, doesn't she? That's part, she's
where
not
does
there.
She go at this point?
She goes off to see someone, to go visit a relative or something, isn't it?
Yeah. So she's not there during the trial. She can't come and rescue him.
During the trial to come and rescue him. Yeah. And then, it then turns into, I wasn't expecting this to suddenly pivot to a legal thriller. I mean, for bearing in mind it's, like a 90-minute runtime, there's a good 5-10 minutes of the case against him. And
which
then the trial.
I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I really liked it. And I thought, there needs to be more Hammer courthouse dramas, because I love a good courthouse drama. There's a bit of a courthouse drama in The Gorgon as well, isn't there? Yeah. Where the guy is meant to have murdered. The son is meant to have murdered his lover, but actually, has he turned to stone by this point? I can't remember now.
but this is nearly 50 minutes into the film, and Frankenstein has done no resurrecting anyone. There's no body parts,
no horror.
It's a very atypical Frankenstein film.
Yes, and also the trial against Hans when it starts is dreadful. It's like the worst. So what my notes says, like the policeman who is also acting as like the prosecuting, prosecuting lawyer, goes. He asks another policeman, "Is this man a killer?" And the other guy goes, "Yes." And I've just put case closed, my lad. No further questions. And I put, this is Barry George levels of prosecution.
He had a speck of firework in his pocket.
That's
which is probably what from the rockets he attached to his roller skates.
Backside.
Whilst on his way to put down some flowers for Princess Di.
Yeah.
From Barry George, Barry Bolsara.
Is he still alive and at liberty in Great Britain?
Yes, he was. I believe he was given money.
Isn't that mad that we are still living in the same free society as Barry George?
Yeah. And he hasn't gone on to kill any other Princess Diana lookalikes, has he? So maybe he didn't do it.
Jan Dildo.
Yeah.
No, take that out, please. I feel bad about
that. But I'm losing the Jan Dildo bit. Yeah.
Just put it in me saying that.
Okay.
Jan Dildo.
Yeah, so poor Hans loses his case, and it's just they put 2 and 2 together and get 10 and say, well, your dad was a murderer and we've heard you shout, I'm going to kill you at someone who is not the victim. You are likely to have done some violence. And so therefore, because you won't tell us where you are, we'll have to assume that you were doing the murder.
You're a murderer.
And immediately execute you.
And right, no appeals. You're done for.
Peter Cushing, to be fair, does fuck all as well, doesn't he?
He's reading the Bible. He's too busy. Oh,
yeah, that part. And he just is like pompous and like, you're all fucking idiots.
Yeah. But he's actually, I think he's, because we have seen that he has done this experiment where he can make a force field around a wine glass. Which means he can preserve the soul. Yeah. So I thought this is quite interesting because considering we've just done the aspects. Which
very, very, very similar.
I wrote the same thing, Ross.
Yes. So we realised, and I think Frankenstein clocks onto this. He goes, okay, well, I need to have a severed head. And if I don't do too much to help him, I will get access to Hans's body really fresh.
And like in all my other films where I basically just pushed people off stairs, chopped people's heads off and put them in a hat box.
So decided to make it. So what he does, gets his husband threaten the jailer.
Yes, this is a great scene. This is very classic.
Yeah, it's really good, that bit.
Where there's a character in it for no point who's got a bit of a weird cough. And then there's this implied thing that this guy is a creep who's got someone pregnant in the past, come back from somewhere else with boils on his body. And so he's blackmailed basically by the doctor.
To say, I just want the body for a couple of hours. So this is because Frankenstein thinks that he can use this special beam he's got to get the soul out of a body, a recently died body.
Pseudoscience, Claxon.
Yeah, this is really quite hard to keep track of this. And then he said he could then put that into a body. But this is is it a recently deceased body?
It's very, very. It's very poorly defined.
So all of this is going on. They take Hans cruelly to be executed in the same guillotine which his father was killed in, and let him walk up to it.
But did you notice, like 2 days before, we saw the guillotine that was all broken and rusty,
right?
And now they take him back to the guillotine to be beheaded, and it's like
all polished up again.
Lovely, yeah. So
it's like
take pride in your work.
Well, maybe they got DIY SOS to come in and get it sorted out. This community's guillotine has fallen into disrepair.
But I've also pointed out that the one thing for Hans is at least he's got a better turnout for his execution than his dad got. For his dad, he just had him. Whereas at least like half the village are there to see him, Hans being there. So I thought, well, you've achieved something.
I miss it. And then is Christina
turns up late.
She's coming up. She's coming back from wherever the fuck she's been with another woman in the carriage. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to miss it. There's a public guillotine going on." So then Christina sees Hans beheaded, and then has a bit of a freaky, as I suppose you would do, really.
And throws her off of at least 5 foot high bridge into at least a foot of water and promptly dies, apparently.
Yes.
That's when the Baron's going to do is take the soul out of Hans's head and put it into the body of Christina. But there's no kind of thing about how does he bring her back alive in order to do that. And the process of doing this miraculously repairs all of her disfigurement and turns her blonde.
Yes. When he just says, "Oh, her hair's changed colour." So she drowns. She is brought in by a load of men, and they're like, "Can you do anything for her?" And Thorley Walters says no because she's dead. But then Peter Cushing is earwigging and says, "Bring her in." And then it kind of just jumps then, doesn't it, to her encased in bandages.
Yes. But we do see the containment field with the soul in it, which is another similarity to the aspects as well.
Yes.
And I found that bit pretty cool, that we actually see what a soul looks like. It's just like a big glowing orb.
Yes, it is good. I really like that part. There's a lot of this film which I really like. I think it's very interesting.
Maybe the
and
power
atypical.
he's extracting from the rocks underneath the thing is what he's using to keep the containment field for the soul, but wasn't clear.
So then we see her kind of lying down, covered in bandages, a bit like
Joker. But she asks for a mirror and he won't let her have one, but then
right. I was going to say more like Christopher Lee's monster in the first film, or creature in the first film, how he's wrapped in bandages, and then you have the crash zoom and he pulls the bandages away. In this one, Thorley Walters has to kind of split her bandages in half, and then it's open to see that she's become beautiful and she's changed from dark haired to blonde.
Yeah, which is, as we all know, more beautiful.
Well, of course it is. Dark-haired women are disgustingly ugly.
And I think that, it's almost like the ideal human being probably would be blonde and blue-eyed, I imagine.
I think so, yes. Absolutely. I'd say they're the summit of humanity.
Almost like a Superman or...
Yes.
Or what would that be in German?
Who is this Superman?
Superman, yes. Right.
Germanic. Well, they are Germanic, aren't they? Yeah, so then there's a kind of weird kind of travelogue section where they kind of dress her up like a doll, isn't there, and stuff, and they kind of teach her to walk.
And no one in the village has realised that. They drop.
She looks exactly the same, but
it can't be the same woman.
They teach her to walk and stuff.
Who could
they check that her legs and stuff don't hurt?
Yeah, but doing a bit of a pervy foot rub on her.
That was a few strange sequences, yes.
And so, now we get into what you really have to say is sort of like the meat of this film. We're coming towards the end.
Only an hour in.
We're only an hour in. And what is established is that Hans's soul is now in her body.
Yes.
And Hans, understandably, is a bit pissed off that these three dickheads have
framed him for murder,
framed him for murder, even though he could have just said, look, I was having sex with that woman and everything would have been all right, but never mind.
How did he know they framed him for murder? How did he know it's them?
Wow.
Was he seen the film like we have? And okay, right, sorry.
Hammer logic. And so then the point of this film is that she is then going to exact her revenge or his revenge on those guys by using her female charms.
Yes, and he picks them off one by one.
One by one.
So the first one is the main baddie, the blonde one with the scarred face. So he
and how does he die?
Well, he draws a ace of spades, which I didn't realise was the card of death. I didn't know that.
No, I had no idea.
Because I was like,
I didn't understand
the song
that part.
"The Ace of Spades" by Motorhead.
I didn't realise that's why it was. I thought it was just a cool card.
Goodness.
Yeah, I can't.
We've got this far in your lives.
I've never heard the lyrics.
Man. It's all the same to me. The Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades. Don't forget the joke.
That's all I've ever heard with that song. So that's the card of death.
Apparently so. It was something to.
Wow.
It says here.
That never happened in Live and Let Die with Jane Seymour, did it?
Different set of cards. Tarot.
It's widely considered the death card through its reputation comes from wartime history and pop culture than ancient superstitions.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're fortune telling with a traditional deck of cards, that the spade is a card of death. The main baddie hears the voice of Hans, which scares him into drinking with his mates. They leave him.
I like to think he's filled his pants at this point, hasn't he?
Okay. But then he comes out and he's tempted by the new sexy version of Christine, who says that there's an abandoned house, which is her house over there. First of all, he freaks out that he doesn't want to go to that house because of his guilt, but then he decides that he can't withstand her.
He can't stop getting his end away.
I'm not sure how he kills her because they go into the house. She goes behind a curtain. He demands that she comes out and takes his shoes off. She doesn't come. He goes in there, and then we cut to the guillotine going down. So are we led to believe that she drags him all the way to the guillotine on the edge of town to behead him?
I think we are led to believe. Yeah. We are meant to believe that's how.
Or was there another killing sequence where they thought actually all the.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. We don't see him beheaded, do we? We just see the guillotine.
We don't see anything about his death.
No.
Then the
but then they're discussing it, aren't they? The next day and saying his hand's back.
So then we have the second guy. She sort of seduces him in the cafe. She accidentally lets him spill the wine on her skirt. She said, "I'm going to go and take it off in here." So he thinks that's come and get me. He goes in, and then she's got a big meat cleaver, whacks it down, and then it's a nice cut to the chopping of a log. I thought
that is beautifully lit, and it's a really good sequence. She's lit all in red from the fire. It's really well done. And then in a classic kind of Terence Fisher-y style, it goes from. It's like a kind of visual link to the next scene, isn't it? Like when
and we found his decapitated body on the floor, covered in Hans's coat with the word Hans written in blood.
Yes, just a really drive home who could have been responsible for it,
guys.
Hans was here.
This is what. Yeah.
Then the mob turn up to get Frankenstein, saying you're.
Yeah, because they've put two and two together and said Hans is back. Who brought him back?
And they go, and he says, "Well, let's go and check his body." And they dig up the body, which is buried like 1 centimeter down.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Psycho or whatever it was called.
It wasn't even buried in the ground.
Yeah. Buried, sat up on a motorbike out of the ground.
Yeah, that one was amazing.
Still one of the maddest.
That was nuts.
Most archetypal images I've ever seen in my life of a guy buried, sat on a motorbike out of the ground.
I do think Psychomania is going to be one of our touchstones moving forwards. It was amazing.
Yes. What a great film.
So then they realise that their head is gone, and then we cut to the head stuck on the end of Christine's bed, and she's talking to it with his voice.
Which is very similar, oddly stylistically, to in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Oh,
whenever like the Green Goblin would talk to Norman Osborn, he could kind of talk to him through the mask.
Oh, okay.
It's a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, and I didn't. What was his name? Ed Kemper have his mum's head, which used to talk to him and tell him to go and kill people.
Who's Ed Kemper?
He was a serial killer. The co-ed killer, I think it was.
Co-ed killer.
He was.
Okay, I don't know.
You're not into true crime. You like these type of murders.
I like false crime.
So then we're left with the last guy to kill, the guy from
Mr. Roy.
Yes, Minister. And
Mr. Derek. Mr. Derek, isn't it? That was the right.
Yes, and then weirdly, he's murdered by Basil Brush, isn't he? He's strangulated by Basil Brush.
So he thinks, oh shit, I need to get out of town. So he runs off, gets into the carriage, and who's sitting in the carriage waiting is sexy Christine, who is given the coach driver some money to say the horse has thrown a shoe.
Oh,
when they're out in the woods. And then she said, well, why don't we go and have a picnic over here?
And I've put his initially, he's like desperate to get out of town. He's so convinced he's going to be killed. He's like, I've got to get the hell away from here. And then he's just immediately won over by a blonde.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, come on. Let's go. All right, I won't escape. That's fine.
It is a good parable on the stupidity of man, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, Talis was saying, why do they keep doing this? And then Rome was like, because she's pretty. And Talis just couldn't understand.
At this point, is Cushing
is realised what's going on.
Making chase, isn't it? Is it making chase? Is that taking chase?
Giving chase.
Yes.
And bombing along in a one-man buggy.
With a horse. Not just like the buggy in Diamonds Are Forever on the moon.
And
or little Nell in Diamond. You Only Live Twice. Is it Little Nell? The microlight.
Yeah. I really want to fly one of those one time. Or one of those things, where it's like a big fan on your back and you have a parachute.
I'm convinced that has got Ross Cleaver's sadly died today.
Yes.
Written all over it.
I've seen a video of William Shatner using one of those. So if he can, he can do it. It is like
it's very late breakfast show, isn't it?
Yeah.
getting wrapped around a pylon.
A pylon.
Yeah.
Come back to Noel in the studio.
Yeah. Oh, they're just mad. They're just mad. Bonkers.
Right. So we're almost at the end. The other mad thing that's happened is they the police turn up to kind of investigate like what the hell has been going on, and the other doctor who's not Frankenstein,
yes.
He asked Peter Cushing what's happened. He asked Frankenstein, and he tells him, and he then said, the policeman goes, "Do you expect us to believe this?" And the other doctor goes, "He is telling the truth." And then the copper is just like, okay.
Yeah.
He's won over in a heartbeat. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, as we've seen in the law in Hammerville, you just need one other person to corroborate what's being said. Is that true? Yes.
Case closed.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Is he a murderer? Yes.
Yes. You're right. You're quite right, Ross.
I mean, the Doctor is a learned man, and they have known him a long time.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And he's not known as a drunk.
So the Doctor gets there just in time to find Christine has chopped off the head of the last remaining of the baddies.
Yes.
And is talking in the voice of Hans.
Yes.
And then,
which is quite creepy.
And then he runs and jumps off a cliff. And that's the end.
She says, "Oh, I've done what needed to be done."
Yes.
That's it. I can't go on now.
Is it a cliff?
Yeah. Somehow
I thought it was just the water again.
Oh, yes.
They just so have to be near the sea. And
it's the drowning motif, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it's more of a weir or something, Cleves.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the sea.
I think it is the sea.
I thought it was a weir. I thought I didn't know it was supposed to be the sea.
Anyway. It's a body of rushing water.
It's big water.
Yeah. And yet again, drowned instantaneously.
Yeah.
It's not like
not thrashing around screaming.
Yeah. Well, move on to the next film. Like the littlest hobo, the Frankenstein, or Bruce Banner at the end of the Frankenstein, Hulk. He just moves on to the next town.
Yeah, because once again, we've said so many times that there were no coders to these movies, but really with this one, it's like, so what? Like all his experiments that he was doing, what's going to be the deal with those?
Yes.
Now? Is anyone bothered? Is everyone okay?
I
with all
like to
this?
think that he literally just gets back in his horse and trap and just drives off. And I think it's left to Thorley Walters to explain what the fuck all the machinery is and stuff
then they show it to the money men, whoever they manage to convince to put some money into this, and they go, well, where's the monster? This isn't a Frankenstein film. There's no where's Karloff? Where's Lee? And they go, oh shit, okay, well,
where's the bolts in the neck?
Exactly.
A good sequel though, actually, you saying that, Cleve. Then the money men come in, but it's a bit like Cyberdyne Systems. And they use all this technology to build something else that becomes another spin-off. That would be good, wouldn't it? Big Finish should fucking look into that. I think.
If you listen to, there's an upcoming episode of Too Hot for TV where I cover 2 Dracula audio plays. One which is the one with Michael Sheen doing the narration, which is excellent. Which is the unquenchable thirst of Dracula. Excellent. And then we also review one of the Mark Gatiss Dracula Big Finishes, which is one of the worst things I've ever listened to.
Is it called Dracula's
War? The one
I think Dracula's Guest, I might have taken the pictures for the cover of.
Yes, I do recount that story.
Yes.
Yes.
You.
So go and listen.
Do you talk about him doing the Roger Moore
impression? Yes, I do. I stole that anecdote from you. Sorry.
Very good.
But go and listen to Too Hot for TV, and you find we discuss should that be a spin-off audio Hammer Universe, and I say yes, but don't let Big Finish do it because it was rubbish what they did.
Did you see the other day? And this is just an aside. They've got a new contract for doing Doctor Who spin-offs until 2035.
Yes. This is insane.
That's like longer than the end of time.
There would be no.
We'll all be dead by
then. It would be in the rubble of like a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and Nick Briggs would be like screaming.
We need more Doctor Who.
Screaming into a non-functioning ring modulator. trying to record it onto sort of like a wax cylinder somewhere.
Colin Baker sat on a desk alone in the rubble, just signing pictures of himself for all eternity.
With his radioactive Crocs.
Right.
Okay.
So yes.
So there we are. That's the end.
movie.
Yeah.
Scores on the doors. What do we think, fellas?
It wasn't one of my favourites.
Really?
I think it wasn't terrible, and I think the fact that Gen Z, Gen Alpha kids watched it all the way through. They lost interest when they realised when they started killing off the baddies at the end, which is a bit I think you're waiting for. They went, oh well, this is what it's going to be. I think they couldn't work out what the story was going to be to that point. And as soon as they knew where it was going, they lost interest.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting way of taking the Frankenstein story forwards. But as with something again I say on this other podcast, is that often people go, okay, well, people love Frankenstein. Do you know what they love about it? It's just is him, but we don't want to show too much of him. So there's people sort of around him. They don't realise, the thing people like are the monsters he makes, and the monsters go and running amok. And it feels like sometimes people they try and do something different, but they end up like throwing away all the bits people are interested in.
But also that's going to be an economic decision as well, though, isn't it, Ross? As you said, as we've said so many times before, existing sets. Oh, how much is this makeup going to cost us? How much is this special effect going to cost us? Right. Okay. It's like rolled gold, isn't it? It's like thinly. It's like, okay, well, we've got Peter Cushing. Right. Okay. How many scenes can we have with Pete? How many scenes can we do with Pete Cushing? And how, what's he available for?
Yeah.
And all of that.
He does want to be at home making his model.
Yeah.
That's right. He needs to be painting some miniature figures in his slippers.
In Whitstable.
So I think that's the thing you've got to remember.
We've got those police uniforms from that other. So we have to put some police in.
We'll stick those in. But so I think you're absolutely right that, you do end up losing sight of what makes the character good and what people respond to. But also you think, there's always, with these films, in any film that you watch, there's always the economic decisions that are behind it as well. And the older I get, the more you realise, I see, I understand. It's not just a case of like a TV show or a TV series. You don't sit and go, right, okay, 15 of the best stories we can come up with. Go.
Yeah, but I do suppose it was
here's the arc. Oh, wait, but if we do those episodes, those are going to be expensive. And if they're expensive, we then can't do those episodes. So we've got to redo that to make it. There's always this playoff.
Yeah, and I do suppose it was the fourth Frankenstein film they made. So they thought, well, we can't just keep doing the same thing over and over.
Doing it. Yeah.
But they tried something and then it was like, maybe that didn't work. I don't know.
Well. So what's your score, Cleves?
2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
James?
Yeah, I'd have to say the same, I'm afraid. It's a 2 for me.
I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Cool.
I think it's the last of the great Hammer films.
Ooh, okay.
I think you can tell that it's in Bray Studios, and I think after they left Bray Studios, a lot of stuff went to shit. And I think this is one of the last ones where all the team are there. I think they're trying to do something really interesting with the character. There's no monster. There's no horror. It's another one where they're trying out like this kind of weird fantasy kind of not nursery rhyme, fairy tale kind of stuff. I think it's a very interesting, weird film. And a bit of a kind of failed experiment, but that is Peter Cushing's Frankenstein, isn't it? Everything he does is about a failed experiment, and that's why I love it so much.
Cool.
And I think it's one of the best Hammer Frankensteins, probably the second best after the only two you really need to see are Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, which we haven't watched yet, and this one. And I think they're two sides of the same coin, but they're very, very different films, because everything then about where Hammer goes next is in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, where there's a rape scene, where there's loads of gore, there's loads of horror, there's loads of blood and murder. So yeah, very interesting film. But I agree with both of you of what you've said, but I am very fond of it because it is this kind of part of this
I think if it wasn't
changing of the guard is the phrase,
if we'd watched that and it wasn't Frankenstein, I think, and it was just like someone doing some kind of experiment or something like that,
like the Asphyx.
But because the Asphyx could have been a
good film.
It was good.
And to be fair, if we'd watched a print of it which was visible, we might have enjoyed it.
Which I found afterwards for free. I could have to spend that £4 on the DVD.
I am very much won over, though. I do really like, now you've mentioned it, I do really like the idea of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen stylee.
Yes.
With all of these kind of, like, the remnants of, all these Hammer movies that don't have a coda. Yeah. Creating some kind of story, which is a coda to all the, as you said, like the experiments of Frankenstein. What happens to them, and what do they get used, and how
there's some kind of like clandestine organisation who goes to they turn up after all these things have happened. They go, right, okay,
that'd be cool.
Get that stuff, get that, and it's all being taken somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
great, there you go.
Would be excellent.
That's Hammer, if you're listening.
John Gore.
Yeah.
Maybe
we should email him. I just think they should, every time we do this podcast, we come up with a positive way that a lot of these films could be remade.
You should be paying us lots of money to...
just to be consultants on making this stuff again. Some of it's so old now. No one knows, there'd be rights issues with Quatermass and stuff like that, but I'm sure a lot of these films they could remake for next to nothing, and they'd be good, and they'd find an audience. There's fuck all horror comes out now. When you think about this era being the golden age of horror and stuff, like a new horror film every week, there's hardly any horror comes out at all now that is like
I think there is
into the cinema.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that Cleaver watches, James. Which is, I watched a film and it's a girl trapped in a room, and then she gets bumped, and she's got the screams, and then she's screaming, and then it finished.
Well, no, I think horror is more popular than it's
Shudder.
I think it's
Shudder. They're making so many Shudder originals and stuff.
But are they on in the cinema, please?
I'm going to go watch The Bride. We're going to go watch The Bride.
Oh, yeah. I'm quite interested in that. Mainly because Jessie Buckley is amazing. But Christian Bale, they're really not plugging with that at all, are they? It's like it's just all her, which is quite interesting. So I am quite interested in that.
Well, I went to see Paranormal Activity, the play, in London last night, and it was absolutely fantastic.
I don't even know what it is. What is it?
Have you seen any of the Paranormal Activity films? Okay. No. It's related to it, but it's not like a sequel or a version of it. So it's an American couple who've come to live in the UK. The set is like a cross section of a house. So you got the downstairs and the upstairs. And essentially they moved there because she keeps having, she's like haunted, and she keeps losing time, and she feels like this feeling of dread all the time.
Is she on Spice?
The audience were loving it. They were all up for it. Everyone was like screaming and like getting all excited and stuff. But then when we got up to leave, Beck goes, "That's Ian McKellen," and Ian McKellen was sitting in the audience a couple of rows back from us, and he's talking to a lot of the people who were sitting and were talking to him, and he was just saying, "Oh, how good it was" and stuff.
Great,
and then
amazing.
Beck goes, should we see if we can?" And so he's just hanging around for a bit outside, and then he came out, and he was with another actor, the guy who was Billy Waller-Bridge's boyfriend in Fleabag. He's in Star Wars as well, James. He's in one of the Star Wars films. I can't remember what his name is. But so those two actors were there.
Don Henderson?
No. And then Beck went over and said...
David Prowse?
Imagine.
So
wow.
Beck. So a couple of people had a picture with Ian McKellen, and then Beck went over and said, "Do you mind if I get a picture taken?" And that other actor stood back and said, "Well, no, could I get a picture of both of you?" Because she got a picture of these two guys.
Oh, no way!
That was nice.
Cool. Excellent.
Pardon me. Yeah. So really, really recommend that play. It was
money well spent. Please.
It was Beck's Christmas present, and it was just
great.
Brilliant. So proper scary. Everyone in the audience had such fun on it, but it's almost like a jump scare, but then it just keeps going, and you can just feel like all your hair on the back of your neck all just standing up, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then it just like big loud bangs and stuff. Really good.
Well done, Cleves.
Good job.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Beck. Yeah. Cool. So next time on General Witchfinders, I need to get to the come back, and we will be watching The Medusa Touch.
Will we indeed?
Yeah.
With Burton.
With Burton. So expect
broadsword to Danny Boy.
So come back and join us for that. Okay, well, we'll see you then. Until then, happy day, everyone.
Love.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone.
You have been listening to the General Witchfinders. Support the show and continue the conversation at patreon.com/General Witchfinders. Subscribe and spread the word at generalwitchfinders.com. Farewell, and don't have nightmares.
Sounds like when I did a day in Tesco stacking bananas.
I think it's an absolute analog. It's
yeah. I never went back, and then they wrote me a letter saying, "We thought you did a great job. Come back, and we'll pay you whatever you want," kind of thing. And it was like, what? Yeah. Stratford Tesco's 1992.
Yeah, they're still waiting.
I without knowing, I am now the managing director of Tesco's.
Yeah. It's now called Test Johns.
Terry, was it something Terry? Terry, the first man that ran it.
T.E. Southern, isn't it?
Is that what it is? Was he called Terry?
It's T.E. Southern Co. Because the guy who was one of the managers at Borders when I worked there, he told me that his grandfather got demobbed from the RAF at the end of World War II, and they were all given like demob money, I believe, was it?
Yes.
And a guy that he was in the RAF with said, "I'm going to go into business. Do you want to come in with me?" And this guy said, "No, I'm not." And his granddad said, "Oh no, I'm not sure about it, but good luck." And it was T.E. Southern, and he was like, "He's like, we could have been, exactly that."
But the thing is, though, of course, if he did it, he might have been a failure, you know. So,
you never know, but it's just one of those.
He might have been the weakest link.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got a suit as well, a free suit and some money. Yeah. I remember reading about it in Spike Milligan's one of his war semi-autobiography.
Was that when you was reading it in prison, John?
Yes. Probably, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't remember now which one I took with me. I think it was the Mussolini one, whatever that one is called. Yes. It was only an afternoon in a police cell, not actual
I
jail.
don't know this story. I don't.
You must know this,
I don't know
James.
that you've ever been asked to help the police with their inquiries.
When I moved back to Yorkshire briefly after graduating.
This has nothing to do with the Epstein files, by the way, is it?
I, obviously, as we know, I'd had a few parking tickets in Cardiff.
Okay.
That had then gone to the farm, I think. And then we'd moved from the farm.
Right.
and then moved to Muston. So when I changed my address from Cardiff, when I changed my address from the farm to Muston, very, very soon, 2 policemen came knocking on the night of the Louis Theroux, Jimmy Savile documentary.
And you think, shit.
How specific?
Is this because you were shouting Savile at his house?
And said, is your name... There was a few things they
John
got
Richard
wrong.
Hagen,
So I should...
Ingerson, Monkman, Pountney.
I think I should have just said, no, it's not me. They were like, is your name Richard Pountney and do you have a green Mini? And obviously it's John Pountney in a blue Mini. And I was like, yeah, why? And they were like, oh, we're coming to arrest you tomorrow.
It's more than they did for Andrew, isn't it?
Don't tip him off.
And I was like, right, okay. And why is that? And they were like, oh, for evading parking ticket fines that had gone up to like hundreds of pounds or something. And basically my mother had them while I'd been in Cardiff and then just thrown them all in the bin.
Okay.
And I think this was at a point when parking tickets were just like those fag paper thin pieces of shit that if they got wet or whatever,
or you just left them on your
away,
windscreen wipers like you did, John. When you was parked outside Habitat to go buy another frame.
In some ways I still am. So the next day they came and arrested me at 9 o'clock in the morning with a full-on riot van in Muston.
I thought it was a dog van. We had to get in the dog cage, didn't you?
Well, that
was my.
It had a cage in the back, but I don't know. Maybe they all have cages in the back. I don't know. So off I went, and I'd taken with me pen and a piece of paper, a pen and a pad to draw. And Mussolini, my part in his downfall, or whichever one it is. So got to the police station. They obviously were thought that they were going to be dealing with some kind of hoodlum. Because they went through all this process and I was just like, I've no idea what you're talking about. I've never been arrested before. I think the police have this mentality where they think, a bit like people that work with medicine and in hospitals, they think everyone talks like meds, scripts. And they've all got the lingo. And I was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never been arrested before. Why would I know what the fuck you're talking about? And then, so I had to take my shoes off. I couldn't keep my shoes on because I had laces for if I tried to hang myself. I couldn't keep the pen for if I tried to stab myself. And I was like, I'm not going to stab myself. I'm here for parking fines.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist, darling.
This is what Oscar Wilde went through, but for a different reason.
So they put me in this cell on my own, and I was in there for hours and hours.
Drawn with his own shit in the end, though, wasn't
it? Just basically smashed my fist against the wall and was drawing the devil on the wall in blood.
He's still there. This is all a dream ever since.
And then basically, it was a Friday. I remember that quite clearly. And it got to 4:30, 5, and I'd been there from 9, and I was like, and I hadn't even been offered food or anything, I don't think, at this point. I think I just had water. And I was like, just knocking on the door, can you tell me what's happening? Because, I'm still in here. And they were like, if you're not seen today, we'll keep you in over the weekend.
Whoa.
And I was like, for parking fines? This is absolutely demented. Yeah. And then I think maybe they felt bad then and I was seen by a magistrate. Right. And basically the magistrate was kind of quite apologetic that any of this had really happened. Ooh. And I had a £300 fine. Okay. And that was it. I don't mind people hearing about the rest of it.
They said, I never knew about that.
It was one of those experiences where you just this system is just bollocks.
I've been handcuffed by the police, but I haven't been arrested.
Did you ask?
No, and it bloody hurt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really tight.
When was that?
When some bouncers tried to throw my brother out of a nightclub, and when I tried to do some Aikido on them, and it didn't work.
Was it Venusian Aikido?
Yes.
Oh, God. And what happened in the end? Adam got thrown out.
Oh, they pulled my shirt over my head and then beat the shit out of me. And then threw me out face first onto the ground. And then my brother lamped one of the bouncers and they beat him up as well. And then next thing we knew we was both handcuffed. And we said we want to make a complaint because they started on us first in the nightclub. Yeah. And they said
the bouncers.
Yeah, they said, well, you can't. We won't do that until tomorrow. And you sobered up. And then by the next day, when the police went there, all the CCTV inside the club had been wiped.
No way.
But all they had was the CCTV outside the club where my brother punched the bouncer. And they said if we don't drop charges, they will file charges against him.
James, have you got new glasses?
No. So, James, have you been arrested or handcuffed? Or?
No. The closest yours truly has ever come to feeling the long arm of the law is when a night out with Ross, when we got really, really pissed. And I was so drunk that when I left the establishment that we were in, and this was on Pool Quay.
It's the same establishment I got handcuffed outside as well.
Ironically, not on the same night. Not on the same night, on a different night.
What is this establishment?
It was called Mint or something, wasn't it?
It was called Mint. It's no longer there. Don't look for it. It's not there anymore. Like the electric banana in Spinal Tap. So I was extremely refreshed, like sort of head spinning drunk. And tired and emotional. And I just thought, well, I don't want to throw up in the nightclub. What I need to, and it was the summer as well, so it was warm out, as I seem to recall. And along Pool Quay, along the water, there's a number of benches for people to obviously sit down, tourists to sit there, and they're big. They're very big benches. So the immediate thing that you could do was lay down on one. And I lay down and waited for the world to start to make sense again. And the next thing I know, 2 policemen came alongside me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm quite drunk, but I didn't want to be sick inside the nightclub. I've come outside." And they said, "Okay,
perfectly fine."
Well, no, but they said, "Oh, that's fair enough. But we do have to warn you, if you don't get up, if you keep laying there, we're going to have to arrest you for being drunk and disorderly."
From not being disorderly.
And I was, as Ross will tell you, I am the biggest rule-following square known to man. And I would die of shame if I was ever arrested. I would literally die of shame. And so I leapt to my feet, and that was it. That's the closest. That's the closest I've ever come.
Yeah.
And then you projectile vomited onto their faces.
Fortunately not. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just realised I'm eating.
That's all right. What was it? A cheese twist? I do love a cheese twist. Have your last one, though, John. I don't want you munching all the way through the...
I may have to, because I don't know. I feel like I need to keep up my salt intake tonight.
Okay.
Well, I'll have a few breaks in between.
Yes, we'll have a salty break.
Okay.
They're not as nice as the Sano's ones with real Parmigiano, whatever it's called.
Yeah, very nice.
But they're like £2, and they're astonishingly full of saturated fat.
Delicious.
Like one of them is like even now I can feel it strangling my heartbeat. So there we are. That's a good intro to the show, isn't it? How we've all been either arrested or nearly arrested.
I had a police photographer take pictures of my body as well with all the...
Of your body?
Yeah, because of...
What, your extra nipples?
Yeah, because of how, when we got beaten up by those bouncers, it was...
Oh, wow. Right, I thought it was a separate thing, Ross said.
No, the same thing. So they really laid into us. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't breathe properly afterwards.
Oh, I've had an email.
Stop! Everyone stop! John's had an email. It's the police. Oh, it's the police, is it?
No.
It's
an interesting email. There we are.
Cool.
Will you buy a dinner? Baby, I'm a man. Yes, it's all the same to me. The ace of spades. The ace of spades. Don't forget the joke.